Hey everybody, Brian Von VA back at it again. Today we're talking about the last D&D character that you played. Guess what? They're hunting you. What do? Leave it down in the comments below. The last one I played? Woo, thankfully it's a new campaign. That'd be Eridine Haversack, 4th level Scottish Octopiamera Artificer Gal. She's extremely smart, and her gadgets are getting scary levels now for the average commoner like me with her returning hammer and power armor, but she has like an 8 in charisma. If I challenge her to a dance-off for my survival, I might just about make it. Wait, hold on, I can't dance either. I'm screwed. Us D&D players can never really get enough. Whether you play 3 times a week or once a month, part of you always craves more. We get our fix however we can, by watching short stories online, D&D live streams, Baldur's Gate. Well, allow me to offer you something new. The best available follows a party of new adventurers trying to make a name for themselves in hopes of being sponsored in a competition. Waterdeep's Festival of Heroes, which sees the chosen parties delving into the depths of Undermountain, risking life and limb to suppress the evils and monsters below to protect the city above. The Dungeon of the Mad Mage is filled with danger, treasure, glory, and mysteries yet to be revealed. Come watch the journey from humble beginnings into heroic legend as we adapt a campaign years in the making into an illustrated web series with art from Doodle Poodle, author of Tales from the Tables. We pride ourselves in converting hours-long sessions into smoothly paced episode with limited animation, music, blood, sweat, and tears. Get in on the ground floor of something great and join the Forever DMs table today. Link in the description. So there's 2 ways of seeing this. There's the most recent TTRPG character that I've played, Emma, and the most recent 5th edition character I played, Kuros. Emma would probably be the easier of the 2. She is a character from Hunter, the Vigil, and as such she is basically just a normal human by herself. This is a Tier 2 campaign, so while the DM has considered giving endowments as story beats, we don't start off with any. Despite this, she is scary good at stealth, larceny, wilderness survival, and especially firearms, with her weapon of choice being a shotgun that she can stow away in her coat. As an example, she is always able to hide the fact she's open carrying a shotgun from the authorities. Her preferred strategy is to set up ambushes where she can pick me off from, so trying to avoid leaving myself alone in locations is very important. Now as for weaknesses, she has 2. While she is amazing at firearms, she is completely unskilled at close combat. Forcing her into such a position with a weapon will likely allow me to have a better chance of taking her out. Also, as a hunter, she has a unique code that she follows, which can be exploited for my own benefit. If at all possible, she will not risk the lives of others in her pursuit of prey, and will not risk ridding the world of important knowledge. I remember adding additional rules to her code, but these are the big 2 that I remember. I could use these against her to prevent her from harming me. Kuros is hard. The chaotic evil paladin of Rakdos himself in my friend's Ravinka campaign. She is completely and 100% focused on killing people. She's faster than me, stronger than me, and is magically empowered by both her devotion to her oath and her guild. In a one-on-one confrontation, I'm fucked, but her bloodlust is also a weakness. She's not a murder hobo per se, but she can easily be coaxed into violence, either at the proposition of a challenge or if someone really pisses her off. If I can put her in a situation where someone gets in the way of her, she will likely kill them in broad daylight, and she'll try to kill any officers that come as well if she believes she is capable of doing so. She's level 5, meaning she is powerful, but if the entire police force gets on her, she can be very easily overpowered. All the while, I'll try my best to run to safety away from the incredibly dangerous Catwoman trying to kill me. It's not foolproof, but it's the best I can do considering her skills. I actually would probably survive this situation. My last character was a replacement character that barely even got introduced. Unfortunately, we stopped like 2 sessions after he was introduced. He was a level 2 Dragonborn Necromancer. He has one undead minion in his deceased brother, another Dragonborn. He would likely send the dead brother undead after me while he gathers corpses from the nearest cemetery for research, which will result in him being arrested, as he is not exactly subtle, especially given his appearance. He would almost certainly cause trouble with the police as well and try to intimidate them when they approached and questioned him, which, given his level, will likely result in him dying, though likely not before he takes out a few officers. However, no matter how well he does, he doesn't have the power at this point to get past what would end up becoming waves of cops. And the undead brother, he would either be called back the moment the Necromancer comes under attack by the police, or would draw attention even earlier by being a 9-foot behemoth of a Dragonborn openly brandishing a massive blade. Assuming they don't start extremely close to me, they would get too much attention and I would likely just hear about the whole thing on the news. At a 10-kilometer starting distance from me, I put my survival rate at 90%. At 1 kilometer or less, oh, I'm f***ed. I had a character named V, the Mountain Dwarf Druid, who was gifted a magical staff that had a good amount of spells and could grow into a jungle tree at command. But on his own, he had some amazing combos that he could do. He had Wall of Fire, Ice, Water, Thorns, Wind, and Stone. But just to make sure he had ranged attacks, he had a crossbow and Moonbeam. I didn't really know what it did at the time, but my DM said it was basically a small version of Godzilla's beams from the movies. So, my best option would be a sneak attack because of how low of a level he was. He would probably die to a couple of mag dumps. Now I hope I pronounced this correctly, but Elatan Lucrin, a wood elf ranger wielding a trident and a bow. You don't see that every day. He has around 35 health. His backstory is that he wanted to be a hero, and before he could do so, his father was murdered. Legends spread about Elatan. His father haunts him, and the haunting made the left side of his face covered in gray-colored runes, and his left eye was a milky white. His father poses as a burden, sometimes as Elatan wants to be by himself, although his father does give him advice. But I would try to meet up with him and try to talk him out of it, since he's a good person who probably kills for the greater good and to protect others. Considering that my character is basically a 9 HP pseudo-dragon with all the best charm and control spells from 1st and 2nd level, inflict wounds, invisibility, and no chill, and 18 charisma, alongside a human with almost 40 HP and 18 strength, who just follows along blindly and prioritizes the pseudo-dragon's safety above all else when not receiving orders, I'd have two options. One-shot the pseudo-dragon and attack the human while he's standing there recalibrating, or distract them with fancy knives before running for the hills. I would probably die, to be honest. My last D&D character was Kuros Shakai, a chaotic neutral, 7 feet tall, golden dragon-born warlock fighter. He has 19 strength, 18 intelligence, 10 wisdom, 12 dexterity, 14 constitution, and 9 charisma. In addition, the DM and I went over a special gimmick that I came up with for this character, allowing him to sacrifice blood to make himself more powerful. This gives him the ability to have advantage on rolls, heal HP, deal additional damage to enemies, and even be able to cast spells that are above his level if he sacrifices enough blood. The only problem is, if Kuros does not sacrifice a certain amount of blood every day, he dies. So, Kuros would probably try to hunt me down to harvest my blood. The species where the blood came from matters. Some species have more potent blood than others. For example, human blood is more potent than something like horse blood. Since he has to do at least one blood sacrifice every day, all I have to do is wait for one of two things. Number 1, Kuros decides that the time it's taking to hunt me down is not worth the blood he would get from killing me, so he chooses another target. Or 2, Kuros finds a better source of blood. For example, if he found a dragon, he would immediately try to harvest it, as dragon blood is more potent than human blood. I cannot appeal to his ego as he has low self-esteem. I can't scare him as he has faced incomprehensible horrors in war. Oh, I can't fight him as he is a 7-foot tall dragonborn that has hundreds of pounds of pure muscle. All I can do is run and hope to God that he gives up before he catches me. I'm lucky that in the last session I played, I introduced my new character of the campaign, an auto gnome battlesmith artificer who has a big humanoid robot for his steel defender. Frank, the steel defender, would probably be a pain to deal with, but Kent Loy, the actual artificer, has a pistol. It was either them or a woman with a magical halberd of mercury who has managed to kill at least 10 royal soldiers and the most powerful sorcerer she has heard of, the king, all on her own. Not to mention the fact that if she knows that I was the one who created her backstory, then that would give her a strong explanation for why she'd be hunting me down. Ah, shit! A gnome by the name of Duvamil Ningel, also called Badger. Level 6 Moon Druid, true neutral, only because she can't be unaligned. At this point, she is more animal than person, but with all the smarts of a really smart person. Not to mention she loves hunting more than anything else. My best bet right now is to get into a city, cause spending too long in cities makes her nauseous and grumpy. Now I can't think of any reason she would try to kill me, but I do know for certain there isn't any reason she wouldn't. And don't bother saying, just wait till she runs out of wild shapes. If she does, she's a spellcaster, and she's not going to. A blessing from Selyun means that she can wild shape 3 times per day instead of 2. That's 9 hours a day. My last character was Aldrich, a veteran fighter who has decades of mercenary experience and recently got done with a trip into the Feywild to deal with some strange carnival and fairy tale shit. He'd track me down within a matter of hours, but at least he'd make it quick. To the man, it's just a job. Now, if it was the one before that, Zul, my wizard from Curse of Strahd, it might take that guy a little while to find me because he could be a bit dense at times and I didn't take any divination spells because of Curse of Strahd stuff, you know. But since he became a lich and went a bit insane from said COS stuff, I'd venture to say I'd probably die horribly a couple dozen times before he got bored. Then I'd probably become a skeleton or undead abomination or something. If we're talking Pathfinder 2nd Edition, love Pathfinder over here, it would be Fortuna Madasi, my summoner. She's low level right now, so running away might be doable. Her Eidolon, though, is really fast, so running from that won't be happening. But luckily, it's only got a range of 100 feet from her, so if I can keep my distance, I could be fine. But if we're talking about D&D 5th Edition, oh boy! Faye Vortaran, my 14th level Horizon Walker Ranger, is spec'd into polearm bullshit and movement speed. She currently has a plus 15 in survival, so there's no hiding from her. And she can outrun most cars, so there's no running either. Faye would catch me with almost no effort. Fortuna would have a harder time, but that's only because she's low level. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in at the end of the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below. The last D&D character right now is hunting you. This could be Pathfinder, D&D, any TTRPG character, and they're after your ass. What do? Let us know. We love you all, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.